Welcome to On the Rise. I am Evan Murray, and this is awesome. We're here to talk about all the fun facts of Chinese language music.
Is all the international event that if Taiwan want to join, we have to use the four names. So basically we have four names. The first is called Republic of China. The second one is called Chinese Taipei. The third one is called Taiwan. And the last is called China. So in Canada, we won't say, oh, hey, I'm a Canada, Toronto people. We won't say that. We'll say we're Canadian, but we cannot say out loud we are Taiwanese. We can't. Like when I booked my flight back to Taiwan, I have to select Republic of China. I cannot say Taiwan. There's no option. Even my passport, even my identity card, it says Republic of China. What is this? I don't know. I don't know. So the most difference is identity for myself. It feels I'm lonely. I'm homeless. I belong to nowhere. Like hard to explain where I came from. I don't know. Like we won't say I'm Japan Tokyo. What is that? What is that? No.
Yeah. Well, the identification. There's a few degrees of this because, like let me give you an example of because I just want to kind of relate to you on this. Is that like growing up in Canada, growing up in this multinational country. And then learning about indigenous people in Canada and all of how they were mistreated and how they were here first and how people moved in, and then, people saying to me you're a European Canadian. And I was like, okay, because I don't know any difference. But then I go to Europe. I went to Europe quite extensively. I toured there and I started realizing I'm not European. I am not European at all. I am I might look like a European, but I don't act like one socially or culturally. My entire identification is made from where I was raised, who I interacted with. That's my identification, and I don't know how to identify with that because I'm not like an Irish person. Me and an Irish person can get along just as good as me and a Taiwanese person or Japanese or whatever, or African. It doesn't matter. We're not the same. You know what I mean? Our personality. So I'm just trying to relate. I'm trying to relate to you that feeling a little bit of isolation. Obviously, yours is much more politically bound, whereas in because no one will agree to let Taiwan be a sovereign nation, and I know where you're coming from with this.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but as far as the identity stuff, it is complicated because the older I get now, as I start feeling more and more am I Canadian? Am I Canadian? What is that? What does that mean? Is it enough to have a passport, or is it how many generations, or how does that work? You know what I mean? And this is kind of
that's right.
Yeah. So, and I wonder, what is my culture? Am I living in calendar culture? Do I just follow a calendar and that's my culture? What is my culture? I celebrate Christmas when they tell me to. Yeah, I don't know. So that's such a huge conversation, but I think it's worth I think it's worth examining. And I think as Canadians, I think we all have to examine that question, what makes us Canadians? And I think the thing is that we're pledging to live somewhere, we're pledging to pay taxes and to try to generate a good life for everyone that lives there. I think loving a place makes you that place, doesn't it? Maybe, I don't know.
Is it? Yeah. Agree.
So I would be half Taiwanese. So I'm, I'm half Taiwanese.
Yeah. It doesn't need to give the actually percentage, but it's okay.
Yeah.
51%
Yeah, the percentage is too much precisely. My math is so bad. I don't have correct answer all the time.
Silian might be able to help us with our math, but we don't necessarily have to. How about you, Silian? So you were talking you were talking about the food and the culture and stuff. And Taiwan's a little bit different because it's not as multicultural as Hong Kong, obviously.
No.
Especially not in Tainan. Like it's not. I don't think it's very multicultural still today. But that's what makes us unique and interesting is that we can have these conversations. I think it's so. But have you both of you find living in Toronto, that's that you're living in a metropolis. Like it's the most populated city in Canada. I think it's like one of the most expensive cities to live in the world as well.
Oh yeah.
Have you found that you found it safe? Have you found it safe? You haven't experienced too many problems there with other people, or generally you like it?
You mean in Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah, so far so good because, well, I grew up in Toronto when I was studying. So I sort of get used to how Toronto is like. This time after the 10 years in Hong Kong and after I come back to Toronto, and actually it's even more, I would say in downtown, there are actually more homeless people around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a big problem. It's a big problem in Canada. 100% it is.
Yeah, but and also I think there are a lot more Asian in Toronto as well compared to 10 years ago.
Well, that Mandarin is the second most spoken language in Toronto, right?
Wait,
more
not
than
Arabic?
French, right?
Mandarin language is the second most spoken language in Toronto. CBC released that like about about a month ago. Yeah,
and I don't speak Mandarin.
So there you go. So Kerr's got a little bit of an advantage on you.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to be a musician? Like Silian, let's start with you. Why did you choose? Was this a conscious decision, or was this something that kind of happened to you?
Yeah, no. Like when I start singing, like more than 10 years ago, I didn't choose to sing consciously. Like it's not. I don't want. It's not like I don't want to be a singer. It's just, I just sing sometimes. And
wait, let me ask you this. Wait. Did you consciously became a mathematician, right? Like you consciously chose to do math, right? But with
I remember when I was studying university, I quit after year one university. I quit and I actually have a trip to Europe and to backpack for a couple of months by myself. And then after I come back, I actually decide, do I want to study math or do I want to study music? And I actually chose to study math at that time. So I didn't choose to sing before. I just keep singing and people ask me to sing. Like people find my voice was not too bad. I can sing sometimes. And so they ask me to learn songs and then I start singing very naturally. But to become an artist, or singer, you have artist singer, you need to have a lot more than just a voice, right? You need a lot of character, you need attitude, you need your own message and a very, very strong will to do so. And not until recently when I start write my own original, like other than the voice, all my other stuff, like the message, the attitude, the strong will start developing around me. And all of a sudden, I really want to spread out my message to the rest of the world. So right now, I can say that I choose to be a musician.
All right, you heard it. You heard it from Silian herself, right? Right from the source. What about you, Kerr? What about yourself? How did music come in? So, like, I mean, your career, that's extensive. Like, that's time consuming. Extreme, like high education, you would have had to given a lot of yourself to obtain that type of career. Okay, tell me about it.
Yeah, I think I'm a fortunate kid. When I was little, I learned all the instrument by myself because my parents, they don't support me and they disagreed all of investment from that point. They think I have to study well and get better life. Unfortunately, I learned all the instrument and all the melody by myself. I never go to any schools. I don't have too much resource. So in Taiwan, I was in a band. I am a bassist before, and I love music so much just because everything start from a cover song. So I learned cover songs. I play cover songs, and I sing cover songs a lot. So also that become my stuff. And after I absorb those new melody, new rhythm, new tech skill, it becomes my stuff. And what I try to say something, and it will becomes my gear and becomes my weapon, and I can use them to say something. But the main question is, what should I say? Like, what is Kerr? Like, what do you want to bring in front of people? So what do you want to serve? So that's why I start thinking of that question. And when I started writing a song, I have the same feeling like Silian. Like, I found myself, and I sing my original song in front of people. It's very unique and interesting because nobody heard that before. So no matter what I sing, I can do whatever I want. But in the past, when I played a cover song, they would judge me. They would say, "Hey, you didn't solo well, and hey, you have the bad note. Hey, your speed is wrong." And why you judge me so much? I try to be myself. Then after I start to sing my song, and then those voices just disappear. And I would feel, wow, what is this? What the hell is it you're doing? So it makes me feel very interesting. In a positive way is I can express myself. And in negative ways, they don't judge me too much anymore. So that's very, very romantic for me. And also start from that incident happened in 2019. After that, I start to write a song for myself. I have the same feeling. I found myself by my soul. And also I can tell some story in the past and share my idea through the music, through all instrument. That is fabulous, fantastic.
So, I mean, I think I have the answers here. What you would do if you weren't a musician, because that's what both of you have set yourself up quite nicely in your own,
That's right.
In your own lives. So that's quite great. What about teaching me something? Something that's, how do I say to, like, this will be good because we can do it in Mandarin and Cantonese. So let's think of a phrase or something that would be useful in life. And then let's try to parlay that through the two languages.
Well, you have beer, you have pretty girls, so basically that's not.
Yeah, well, not for everybody. So,
I know, yeah. I know.
What do you think, Silian? What do you think? What should I know in Cantonese? What do you think I should know?
I think you really should learn this, especially now. Like 你好靚女，
靚好靚佬，靚好靚佬。
你好靚女。
Okay, let's do that one more time. My brain just tripped. Okay, say it.
你 NEI 你
Okay, 你好
靚女，
靚女，
女 LUI
女
你好靚女。
你好靚女。
Thank you. It means
So
you're beautiful.
Oh. Okay, that was a setup. Now, I understand now. That was a setup. Okay.
Say this to Kerr. Say it to Kerr. 你好靚仔。
你好靚仔。
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You as well.
Oh, that's handsome. That's handsome.
Yes,
right?
handsome. Yeah.
Okay. 你好靚佬。你好靚佬。女。你好靚女。
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay. Now that it's recorded, I'll definitely remember that. What about you, Kerr? What do you think is something important to say in Mandarin? Like, let's go like something to do with traffic. What about something to do with traffic? Some element of driving? Because I drive here. I have a license here. I bought a car here. So what's something useful in traffic?
Well, you know what? Basically, if you ever live in Taiwan, you will feel a big differences compared to Canada, because the old Taiwan, the traffic is horrible. It's just like a racing party. You know what I'm saying? Like all drivers, all the riders, they won't stop when they see the pedestrian walk by. So useful word, that's so bad.
Bad
Okay,
words,
something.
real
How
word?
about something in music? How about something in music?
Yeah, sure. So if you want to say this, I love this music. It sounds so great. You can say 很好听. 很 means very. Yeah,
Okay.
好 means good. 听 means for listening. So 很好听. Yeah, that's right. So if you see if you after like Silian shows, you can talk to her. 很好听 means great.
No, I'd say that to you. I'd say that to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. What would I say?
Well, I can understand too.
Oh, yeah,
right.
That's simple.
Okay. Can you
But
understand
writing
that? Can you understand that from Cantonese, or do you understand that from Mandarin?
I understand from Mandarin, but Silian knows a little bit Mandarin, so.
Yeah. Oh, so Silian, do you know ting as sound then? Do you already know that?
Yes. In Cantonese, 很好听 is 好好聽.
Ho ho tang.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was
好
getting
好
at.
聽 in Mandarin.
Hung hao ting is ho ho ting. Ho hung ho ho what?
Tang. 好好聽.
Tang.
Ho ho tang, not ting. It's tang. Okay, interesting. See, so interesting.
That pronunciation is like a bit closer.
Yeah, it's very similar.
All right. What about favorite foods here, ladies and gentlemen? What about favorite foods? So I mean, both Taiwan and Tainan has its own cuisine, and definitely so does Hong Kong. So that's really interesting. Do your favorite foods come from your childhood, or have you found favorite food now that you're living on the other side of the world?
I could say something about that is because Taiwan is at the tropical area. So the fruit, like banana, like tomatoes, like strawberry, like lots of fruit in Taiwan is very, very, it's great. It's awesome. Like in Canada, because of the weather, we all get the fruit. Most of the fruit is from US. And the US, the fruit is also the different weather compared to Taiwan. So the fruit from Taiwan is so, I miss it so much. Like all the fruit from Taiwan. The most of the things like banana. It's really hard to explain that. You have to taste it someday.
Yeah, I remember I traveled to Taiwan a couple of times in the past, and yeah,
That's
the
so
fruit
great.
is just amazing.
Yeah, when I first time entered Taiwan, I tried to buy like a vegetable and the fruit. I said, "What is this? It's like a huge soccer ball. It's not a vegetable." Yeah. Also the watermelon and also like avocado or something. But the blueberry in Canada is better, to be honest.
Yeah, I think berries in Canada, it's much better. Strawberry, blueberry.
Well, they grow because first of all, blueberry, because I lived in Newfoundland, and a lot of blueberries grow there, and they actually, the time that you pick the blueberries is not when they first come out of the ground in the summer. It's when they hit the frost. So when you get a little bit of frost, that's the harvesting, right? When it's autumn, in the autumn. So in the fall time of the year is when you harvest the berries, and they're just bigger and juicier. And yeah, that's very true. That was very good point, Silian. That's a very good point. The berries for sure.
Yeah, based on the geographic.
Well, what about
me,
you? Yeah,
for me, I actually like I would say not really. I'm not sure. Is it like traditional Chinese or Hong Kongese dish? It's more like a family style dish. It's stir-fried tomato with egg and soy sauce.
Wait. Celine,
Oh,
sorry. I need to interrupt you guys because Celine is a cake maker. She can make cake by flour.
Right.
Believe
Flour,
that?
Yeah. Well,
you should change your answer into your cake and say something. She has her own Instagram.
Okay, so you're also an artisan. Like you're
right. So
artist.
right now I am a cake maker, and I try to put in natural fruit, and also real flowers into the cake creation.
Real flowers. So when Kerr
there are
flour.
There are edible flower. There are edible flowers.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just
plants,
don't
like
don't get
not the flour, but plants, like literally, because we use flour to make bread. Like flour is a big part of I guess
not the pastry flour, not the all-purpose flour, not that flour. It's plants. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I use herbs flour in my cake making.
Okay.
That's my favorite creation. But to be honest, I love stir-fried tomato and egg.
Okay, so can I change my answer to Celine's cake? Yeah, I don't think the fruit is awesome. The cake is much better. I even ordered a cake from Celine recently.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I will try to find some Taiwanese fruits to put in your cake.
Oh please!
In your cake! Oh my God! I think there's some good synergy going on here. You guys might open a restaurant together.
Yeah, I can build your store.
All right. How about let's talk about this. So when we go, how do you feel about this? How do you feel, about the Jade Music Festival happening? You're both interested in coming to perform and take part in the showcasing and networking event, the business aspect. How do you feel that Canada now we're elevating Chinese language music? How does that make you feel, Kerr?
If the Chinese language music, the first idea came out, which is very kind for us because we can try to express ourselves by the traditional Chinese language. And I'm not so sure how it would happen after that. But if I will be a member of that group event, I'll also sing Mandarin songs, but it's the same story, but just in a different language, like Sweet the Channel. And I hope that can help people to know the different Chinese language, because we have two different types. The one is called traditional, the one is called simplified Chinese. So we have different reading, but the pronunciation is the same. So I would say I'll be very positive.
Kerr, wait a sec. We wouldn't call that Chinese. We're just talking specifically about Mandarin, right?
Well, Chinese language and Mandarin is what's the differences between those right now?
Well, because if we say Chinese language, like Cantonese is a Chinese language too, and that's totally different, right? So the thing is, we have to make, with Chinese language, we have to make even more of a distinction, because those are like Hakka. Well, there's so many different types of Chinese languages. That's the thing, right?
That's right. I believe every different language, they will have the beautiful part on the language. I cannot say which language is just the most wonderful. It doesn't exist, this answer. So I would be very positive if all language can share their love, share their story from their slang, from their pronunciation, from whatever they have. Like some explanation I cannot translate in English. We don't have that word in English, but we do have that word in Chinese. So that's also the culture, very interesting part.
How about you, Silian? What does it mean to you?
Right. Canada is elevating Chinese language music. To me, it's definitely very meaningful. Chinese is one of the largest minority ethnic groups in Canada. Me, myself, as a part of it, I'm very happy to see Chinese language music or even just Chinese artists to be elevated. Like to me, honestly, to me personally, as long as it's good quality music and composed with soul, it should be heard by people, regardless of the nationality or languages of the artists or the listeners. And also, it's not only better for Chinese musician or artists, like a more diversified music market, it's also very beneficial to the audience and listeners.
Oh yeah. So that's one thing I definitely want to talk about is benefits. I mean, when we include, like, so Canada is full of, different people from all over the world. And when we start to recognize that, is that people are still, people are still culturally bound or language bound. And I think that if we want to improve Canada or make it even a much more exciting and viable marketplace for its artists, for its businesses, for the country itself, including languages and giving people those spaces to, develop themselves and evolve themselves as who they are in a country,
That's
I think
right.
would be extraordinarily beneficial for all Canadians in the outcome, to see Canada as a better place to do business if we do these kinds of things.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention the other things that I really want to tell. It's because once we are elevate this kind of language, so how about a different nationality like Arabic, like a Spanish speaker? They will think, yeah, we should try to do the same thing. So they will start to show their language in a different event. So it will become like multiple culture in Canada will like bloom, like everyone can share their own language in Canada. I think that is a very wonderful thing. Also inspire people, giving them the brave to say their own language.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. I agree. I do, and I think more Canadians have to try to understand that. They have to try to come to some understanding of how very important. That everybody that lives in Canada is what makes Canada up. That's what makes Canada
That's
a country.
right.
It's not the flag, it's not the land, it's the people who participate. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I
right.
think so. So how about habits? Let's talk about these dirty habits that people have. No, let's talk about the clean habits. Okay, so no dirty habits. Let's talk about the clean habits.
And that's it, folks. Please continue to listen to the next parts or continue to the next episode. Please don't forget to hit subscribe and follow On the Rise. This is awesome.